mean, you know, if you got a cell phone, put it on silent or vibrate. Uh, what a gift to the Lord. Amen. Be respectful. Whose house? His house. God's house, yes. I've titled this Life Over Death. Life over death. Amen? We're coming out of the book of Matthew, chapter 19. We're talking about a rich ruler. Amen? We'll start at verse 16. It says, Now behold, one came and said to him, Good teacher, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? So he said to him, Why do you call me good teacher? Good, but one, that is God. But if you want to keep the commandments, he said to him, Which ones? Jesus said, You shall not murder. You shall not commit, steal. You shall not bear false. Honor your father and your mother, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. The young man said to him, All these things I have kept from my. Said to him, If you want to be perfect, go, sell what you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven, and come follow me. Remove me to the side, Father God. Use me as your vessel, Father God. Give me my eyes, my ears, my mouth, and whole being without reserve, Father God. Use me, Father God, according to your glory. Father God, I give myself entirely to you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen. Amen. Now, here you find this rich man, a rich ruler. So this is a man that was in charge, right? He was a ruler. Just keep up with what we got, right? This is a man that is in charge. He says, here you find a rich ruler. So this is a man that had everything. He was in charge, had everything that he needed. And he asked the question, what must I do that I may have eternal life? Church, here we find a rich ruler who has come to a choice, having to be made. A fatal decision of life or death. How does that determine whether he lives or dies? Right? He has everything, right? He lacks nothing. Right? He was in charge. How many of you are in charge of your life? You see, today's churches, we're in charge. Right? We have the ability to say yea or nay. We have the ability to do what we want to do. Right? Here the man asked the question, what must I do that I may have eternal life? Have you ever asked that question, church? Have you ever wondered what must be done to go into heaven? I mean, do you sit around and ask yourself, am I going to make it? What must I do? Here this rich man asked that question. If you're like me, you have tried all types of remedies and self-help. In other words, making my own choices. I guess I know. I made my own choices. I sat around and chose the hope, and I chose the women and the ways of the world. And, why? Because I was rich. In the sense that we're talking about rich, we're talking about, guess what? I can make my own decisions because nobody tell me nothing. Some of y'all still like that. I can do what I want to do. Can't nobody tell me nothing. If I want to drink, I'm going to drink. If I want to go over there, I'm going to go over there. As we focus on two things in the ending verse, you look at this whole thing and he's asking, okay, man, what must I do? And you know, Jesus tells him, man, you got to do this, you got to follow these commands. Man, I've done all that. In other words, how many done everything we wanted to do. In other words, we did everything and thought that it was okay. Well, I've been a good person. Man, I ain't did this. I ain't did this. But here we see, we're going to focus on a couple of things here. One of the main things that we're focusing on is, as we focus on two things in this ending verse. Verse 21, right? That's the last verse we read. So we're going to read it again. Verse 21 reads this. Jesus said to him, if you want to be perfect, go, sell what you have and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. And come follow me. Now, the word sell here, he's not talking about go and sell all your belongings, sell your house, that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about, look, that you're willing to go and take everything that you have and successfully give it to the poor. In other words, that you're willing to go and sell your car, or sell your time, or sell your money, all these things. In other words, that you're willing to give it up. You're willing to do what you got to do to give to the poor, to help the poor, to help the hungry. He said, this is what makes a person perfect. If you want to be perfect, a perfect Christian here is someone that's willing to give everything they have. That means your time, finances. I'm not saying what we're talking about. I'm not saying that you got to go and sell your house because, oh, well, you know, the Bible says go sell everything. That's not what it's talking about. In other words, that you're willing to use your house. You're willing to take people to your house. You're willing to do for people. You're willing to bless people. You're willing to use your car to help to bless the people. You're willing to use your house to bless the people. You're willing that they use your washing machine and your dryer and your yard and everything that you have, that you're willing that somebody else can benefit from. So this is the type of selling that he's talking about. He's talking about that we're willing to, he says that's where your treasure is. That's where you can become that man and woman of Christ. That's where we can become those people that God is talking about. He said, go and sell. Give to the poor, and you will have treasures in heaven, and come follow me. First, we see that what is told is that when we are willing to give all that we have for the poor, we're willing to give all that we have for those that are hurting. We're willing to give all that we have for the lost, for the prideful, for the murderers. Somebody hear me? Amen. For the alcoholics, for the sexual immoral, for the homosexual, for the gay, for the lesbian. We don't condemn them, but we don't give in to the sin. Right? We have to understand that one thing that we do is, you know, we don't condone sin. But we do love that person. So we have to understand these things. So he said, this is what happens. That we're willing, that we are willing to go out. Willing to sacrifice for those that are lost. Willing to go out. And you know, this man that was rich and he had everything and he could make any decision that he wanted to make. Right? He was a ruler. It says that he was a ruler, so that means he was in charge. How many of you are rulers? Huh? How many of you are rulers over your life? Right now, you have a choice. You are rulers. How many of us have many things? Well, I got money, and I got a car, and I got this, and Everybody's starting to get this now, right?
Amen.
You got shoes, clothes. How many of you are willing to take one of the pair of blankets and go give it to somebody?
Amen.
How many of you are willing to go get some of that money that you got stashed away and go bless somebody? Keep in mind, he says here, and then we will have treasures in heaven. The treasures that you think that you have here, the possessions that you want to hold on to here, if you don't want to get rid of them here, you won't have none up there.
Amen.
Huh? Somebody heard it.
Amen.
But if you're willing to give your treasures here, then you will have treasures there. But if you're not willing, then guess what? When you get up there, you're going to be broke. Amen. When you get up there, you ain't going to have no Nikes. You ain't going to have no Stacy's. Amen. You ain't going to have no bling bling. Amen. Somebody heard me. Matthew 25:40 tells us this. He says, and the king will say, I tell you the truth, when you did it to the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you were doing it unto me. See, now it's starting to make sense right now. Jesus is telling him